So, unfortunately, Arsenal won the Premier League this year. Fuck's sake. But forget about that, because who even cared? Who even cared about the Premier League this year? Do you know what I mean? Won it by what, like 85 points, 83 points? Come on. It was all about the Cups this year, and we won both, so we're essentially the best team in the fucking world. Come on, sit. But it is, however, the end of the season, regardless of what's happened. So I'm going to do my team of the season. We're going to do defence, then midfield, and then attack in 3 separate videos. So make sure you stay tuned for the next couple. So starting off in goal, for me that comes down to 2, Raya and Donnarumma. Even though I'm a City fan, I am going to have to pick Raya here because Donnarumma, as much as being very good this season, definitely different to what we've had in the past with Ederson. He has dropped a few, clangers here and there, particularly with his coming out for crosses and stuff. I'm always a bit shaky with that, and also, his distribution isn't great, but I think we kind of knew that anyway. Now, don't get me wrong, Donnarumma saved us in a lot of games, and there's a lot of games which could have been a lot worse. Some games just won us points, like against Liverpool, but in other games like United away, I know they had some offside goals and stuff as well, but we were lost 2-0, shambolic performance, generally, as well as the offside goals. If it weren't for Donnarumma, it could have been a lot worse. And I think at the start of the season, his shot stopping kind of massively outweighed his distribution, because at the start of the season, he was just... I know he's kind of... I'm not saying he's gone fully the other way towards the end of the season, but at the start of the season, he used to just boot the ball up, let Haaland do his thing. There was no messing around the back, do you know what I mean? But towards the latter part of the season, I do feel like he's tried to do a bit more, like, these cheeky little passes, like, that one where, like, the strikers are pushing onto the centre-backs and he tries chipping it to the right back. Saw him do that once against Leeds, and that's when I realised, don't try to do this shit, mate, because you are going to cost us if you keep doing this shit. And that brings me on to Raya, who I think all round is more comfortable. Now, start of the season, don't get me wrong, I might have been a bit different on this, but that's because I was in the thought of Arsenal's defence is just so much better in comparison to us, particularly the first half of the season. Second half of the season is more arguable, but I was just like, everyone's raving about Raya, but it's more just the defence, really. But second half of the season, he's come up with some really big saves, Raya, like the one against West Ham, for instance. So, I mean, I can't discredit him, and I can't really be putting Donnarumma in when our fan base is debating between him and Trafford and who's to start, because it looks like whichever one we don't pick is probably going to leave in the summer. And I know people might say, well, Raya doesn't get picked to start for his national team. I get that, but that's national team, that's not the league. So, I have to go with Raya. Now, I know Reece James has had a good season. However, I think there has been quite a lot of his games which have been in midfield. So, if we're going particularly to right back, and I know he's had good games at right back, don't get me wrong, and he might have played most of his time there, but he has also had quite a lot of games in midfield. So, that's why he's not in the top 2 contention for me. For me, it's between Nunes and Timber. I'll be honest, I'm a little undecided on this because obviously I love Nunes. I think he's been very good this season, very much the most improved player from last season. That, particularly that game against Man United at the Etihad last season, he was fucking shocking, let's be honest. I know even towards the end of the 24-25 season, he kind of picked it up towards the very back end of it, but this season he's been very much improved. The only thing with me is I don't know if I'm kind of, on top of him obviously being a City player, whether I'm just kind of going, he's naturally a midfielder and he's been put at right back and this is how he's doing, so that makes me kind of naturally put him, probably rank him a bit higher than he probably would if he was always an out-and-out right back. Timber, that's the other option for me in this position. I think first half of the season I thought, Timber was fucking excellent. Back end of the season, very back end of the season, he's been injured. However, there was a middle part of the season with the games against like Wolves and stuff in that little period for Arsenal where I thought he did go a bit off it. I also don't think going forward he's great. I am just going to edge it to Timber in this. I do think Nunes has been hard done by there, but let's be honest, he's the best defensive team in the league. Centre backs for me again. This is between, for me, Arsenal and City players. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to have to go with Saliba as the right centre-back. Left centre-back, I'm going to mention Gehi. Everyone's obviously going to pinpoint that Everton mistake, but someone else could have made that exact same mistake at that point in the season, in that game, and it wouldn't have mattered, because without Gahey, we wouldn't have been in the position where that mistake happened, and it would have really mattered as much as it looks like it has now. I understand Gahey's an experienced player coming in for Max Lane, so that obviously comes into it as well, but Gahey made a real difference, and I think next to Kusanov, that was the reason we were in the title. Genuinely, I don't think we would have been anywhere near it. Not necessarily saying we would have finished like in a lower position, but we just would have been well off it. But the tough thing is here, I have to consider knobber, dickhead, twat in Gabriel. Obviously, I hate the cunt because he's just a little knob. He has this hard ass act, and then, you know, you give him a tickle and he falls over like he's just been shot or something. Like I said before, he has been part of what is the best defence in the league, and end of the day, they've won the league, and a large part of that, I think everyone would agree, is because of their defence. So reluctantly, as much as I think Gahey has done exceptionally well, and I understand people might go, well, if we didn't have Gahey, we'd be a lot worse off, whereas they have like Mosquera and stuff. I just think the fact that their defence is the best part of their team, and that's helped them to win the title, I think, yeah, I mean, you can't really argue with that. Don't really like putting this cunt in, and by the way, yes, I wanted Arsenal to lose. Wasn't as much on that train as other people were. But I wanted them to lose because I was just sitting there thinking, like, given the fact that, you know, obviously I hope that we're going to be in a title race, and I think we can be in a title race, but, you know, we've got a new manager next season. Chelsea have got a new manager next season. Liverpool, now we're going to have a new manager next season. There is just, like, Arteta got a Premier League winning squad there already, and I know he's still got that now. But if that was put on the fact that they won a Champions League as well, we honestly could be in a position where we are cooked. We are cooked. They actually could take over. That's why I didn't want them to win. But ultimately, I'm not around. I don't live in a place where there's loads of Arsenal fans and stuff, obviously. So I wouldn't have to deal with that, obviously, social media and stuff. But that was the reason I didn't want them to win. But as soon as I seen that absolute blade walked up for the penalty and then blazes it over, oh my god, you couldn't write this storyline, number one storyline of the season, honestly, in bottom of the Champions League for Arsenal. That is, do you know what I mean? Because I think this whole stay humble thing, he's had his best season, and yes, don't get me wrong, the Premier League is better than the two cups. However, this is his best season, and this is one of Haaland's worst at City, and yet Haaland has still won 2 trophies and he's won 1. So hold that. And also, I'm pretty sure his wife said something about stay humble when we drew to Bournemouth and took a picture of Haaland over it. So yeah, shut up you as well, dickhead. Nico O'Reilly definitely gets in at left back. Very impressed by him this season. I think he's kind of naturally gone in. Now, when he was an academy player, I'm not going to sit here and chat to you and say I watched him a lot because I'm not watching academy games, but I didn't know that he was a midfielder. I think he was actually an attacking midfielder. So the fact that he's gone into left back and slotted in there, I know he's kind of moved into midfield anyway, in games, but I think he's done exceptionally well. I think defensively I've been very impressed with him as well this season. Now you could argue he got a bit of a lucky break given the fact that Aït-Nouri was starting, and I think it was the game against United at home. Aït-Nouri got an injury and O'Reilly came in, but ever since he got that little bit of an opportunity, he's fully took it. He's actually stepped up in important moments. Similar in a way to Gvardiol, but actually I think he's been more impactful. Gvardiol was just getting on the score sheet, whereas O'Reilly's actually been an attacking threat for us. Obviously scored against Chelsea, the cup final against Arsenal, scored the 2 goals there. Newcastle at home, we beat them 2-1. O'Reilly scored both goals. It helped us to be where we are and helped us win the 2 cups. So, I mean, I don't think that one's arguable. I don't even think really there's anyone that's close to him. I know I might get a little bit of pushback even from City fans themselves, because people be like, where's Núñez, where's Gahey, where's Kusanov? But I think you have to, we have to be honest. We can't sit there and say they're a defensive team. It's all because of the defence. That's the only reason he won it. They're attacking the midfield shit, and then go, oh well, actually, there's not many of the defenders that get into the team this season. I don't think that's fair. And also, just one little side note, I've seen some of these videos and I've seen Van Hecke's name get mentioned. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against him, and I think he is a decent little player, but where has his hype come from, genuinely? Out the outside shout, Senesi for me is definitely been better than him. I mean, Brighton literally at one point in the season, everyone was going like, why are Brighton doing so poorly? I think they wanted the manager sacked or something. he was part of that team. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, talk about mistakes, he also cost Brighton. I don't know if a point would have got them into the Europa League, but he made a mistake against Leeds. Don't have anything against Brighton. Don't watch them as often as other people, so obviously that might be why. But yeah, that's my defence. What do you think?